24 valve. Just did the old straight pipe mod on her, 6-speed, NV5600, edge box, possibly injectors, maybe not. Take this thing for a rip real quick. Oh no! Clutch is just barely holding on to this thing. Yeah, she's not gonna have much longer. Definitely not bad, but is gonna need a clutch pretty soon. I'm gonna start the old dump truck up. Cold start, not really cold, it's about 30. Pull this thing in and get these brakes addressed. The brakes are screwed in this thing. Come on, girl. I don't even know if the grid heater works. Never had this big beast on the lift. Said never had this big beast on the lift. You good? Yeah, I'm good. What? Guys, got the dually up here on the lift. We actually started putting it up on the lift, and the lift messed up. The lift needs work now. It's just like stuck on. We had to actually run it up with a breaker. I think this little switch here stuck, where the capacitor stuck. If any of you guys are smart with automotive lifts or just electricity in general, leave a comment down below. But basically what's happened is he hit the button to raise it up and it just wouldn't stop. Had to turn it off manually at the breaker, and now it's just stuck on. So I think it's this. I think this is like a little interference relay. I think this is what's burned up. I think it's probably welded the contacts together inside of it. So guys, we determined that the shoe came apart and also has a cylinder leaking on the front. It's dripping a little fluid. That's probably why I have that soft pedal. But I think we're going to just grab a set of shoes for this thing and grab a cylinder. I don't think I'm gonna mess with the passenger side as of right now, because it seems fine. You know, it doesn't stick or anything. I don't see any leaks on it. This thing is definitely a little wet in there. That's probably what caused this failure, was the fluid ran, wouldn't you say so? It probably got the pad soaking wet and the material just started coming apart. So if the other one hasn't happened, then, I mean, that's initially what caused it. Cylinder got wet, it leaked down onto the pad just failed. You know, that's no different like clutch material. You can't get that stuff wet. So we'll run to town, grab a new shoe and a cylinder, stick those on here. And then we're also going to straight pipe this thing while it's in the air by just cutting it right in front of the muffler, because it's broke behind the muffler. So we'll just cut it right there and send her. All right, guys, we have got the old shoes pulled off and a new cylinder here. Basically, the cylinder it goes in like this. There's 2 bolts on the back side of it, and then there's a brake line, you can see. So you gotta get that brake line broke loose, and then the 2 half-inch bolts in this case, and then it will come out. And now we will have to install the new cylinder and then the new shoes and reinstall all the springs, etc. I will say a really big thing that can help you if you're doing this job is to take pictures of this stuff before you take it apart. Otherwise, it can be kind of tricky if you get it apart, especially if there's a gap. Take it apart, you're on the parts store, come back, you know, you could definitely forget how a lot of this goes. So just always grab a couple pictures of every corner and you'll feel a lot more confident when you go back together. All right, guys, got everything all put back together on there. Now, need to put the drum back on and get this thing set up good. Guys, I just couldn't stand how quiet this thing was with the big stock muffler on it, so got this nice rusty piece of metal here. We're gonna just do the old slider over there, have her dumping like that. Come on. All right, guys, hater pipe is installed. Got her dumping there on the ground. Some nice genuine welds up in there. I'm ready to get this thing on the ground, see what it sounds like, but I think she's good and solid. Ain't going nowhere. So let's take this thing down the road, see what it sounds like with this exhaust. I'm really happy with how the dump truck sounds, and something else we're doing real quick before we wrap this night up is we just had Truckmaster visit, and I don't know if that video is out now, if you guys are going to be seeing that here soon, and he left us a transmission he said you guys could just have this thing, so thank you for letting us have it, because we are actually going to be able to use this on the dually. If you guys remember right, we have been struggling to get this dually to where the park will work. Everything's good with the transmission we rebuilt for it, but the thing just not going to park. So what we have here is a ready to rock 47 RE overdrive housing, and we're going to take the 47 RE park rod, because the park rod is basically has to match all of these pieces that are up in there. So that right there is how the park works. It slides that little thing right there over, right? I can't show you guys, but anyways, that's how the park works, is that rod goes up in there. So tomorrow, I think we're gonna jump on that, pull that thing in here, and put that park rod and this overdrive housing on the transmission and see if we have park. And then really at that point, all we'll be needing for that truck to get it sold is a tailgate and a couple other small things. All right, guys, in case anyone was curious, I kind of inserted that clip about the lift not really working. And what it ended up being is this little contactor, electrical contactor. I was actually able to just hit it with a hammer and it started, or just tap on it with a screwdriver basically and get that contactor to come open, and it's fixed. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a new one on the way. But another thing that the gentleman I was talking to this morning that helped me diag it was, he said to verify that I do have a true 240 coming into this and not just 110. He said, you know, if I only had 110, then it would still run this motor and I wouldn't be able to tell. It would just have a really high amperage draw, and the life of this lift, it would be really unlikely for this thing to already have burned up. So I was able to contact a local electrical store, and they are going to get me one just so that way I have it. But for now, just to be able to use it, I'll just have to touch these wires together. Pretty ghetto, I know, but that can go ahead and show you guys. Now work just by touching these. So you get the point, but yeah. Next on the list is going to be the dually, getting this thing fired up and pulling it in the garage so we can attack this park issue once and for all. So this is going to be a pretty good cold start, as you can imagine. She is nice and cold. It's around 20 degrees right now. So let's fire up and see what happens. Whoo, dog, it's cold. This freaking shift linkage is all messed up in this thing. All right, guys, here we go. Oh yeah. Got her a little stuck, eh? Old dump truck to the rescue. Come on. Come on. So we have the overdrive housing off the dually, and I have a new one here in my arm. We're gonna throw this one on and see if we can get the park to work. We got the new overdrive housing on and it does seem to work, so we are gonna continue forward. And just like that, everything is reinstalled. Transfer case. Knocking some of that Indiana. Yeah, she needs rockers pretty bad. But the frame on this thing is in really good shape. But yeah, guys, all that is reinstalled, and we now have park, so we're gonna lower this thing down. All right, guys, filling up the 12 valve for the first time since I've got it. It was full, had a super full tank when we got it. We went 211 miles. The fuel gauge is kind of wanky, but I think it was around quarter tank. Hand calculated, the dump truck is only getting around 13 miles to the gallon. That's 17.4 gallons to fill up. I think a lot of it has to do with I need to put some cardboard in the radiator and get it to run at a steady temperature. And then obviously with it being a dump bed, we have this massive wind sail that we're dragging around all the time. Otherwise we'd probably be closer to 15. And I also drive the absolute crap out of it to the floor everywhere I go. It's Tuesday and I'm headed to the gravel pit to pick up some stone. We're going to extend my driveway a little bit. So I'm gonna start hauling in a couple loads of gravel with the dump truck. It's just a little small. I don't really have a ton of parking. Whenever I learned that, whenever Truckmaster came over, we had 2 trailers, about 7 trucks at the house. There's just not enough room, so I'm gonna make the driveway a little bigger. So I figured I'd show you guys the process of that before we close the video out. Some gravel, it looks like he's bringing the thing around right now. Big scooper. All right, guys, here we go. Let's see what this thing weighs. Leave them comments down below. What you think? What do you think? I don't know. I think it's gonna be really heavy, guys. I asked for 4 ton. Let's see what happens. Come on. It's pretty freaking heavy. 15,000 pounds. 15.5. We were 8,600 coming across. Looks like we got about 3.6 tons in here. We're just getting checked out, and we will be on our way. I was looking at the leaf springs, and they're really not even that bad. They're not even max. I mean, they're on the overloads, but they're not as bad as I thought they were the last time I was hauling, so head on home, get this dumped. Gotta say, guys, handling wise, you can definitely tell it's back there, but keep her in 4th gear. You can cruise her 55, 60 miles an hour, no problem. Guys, we just got back to the house. To grab them, I'm gonna go ahead and set up a camera real quick and go ahead and dump this stuff. Let's do it. Guys, made it back to the house with the dump truck. Well, I just left again, but last time we talked, we were dumping the gravel. Got 90% of it out of there. So just gonna take care of a couple little issues I need to real quick on the 12 valve. I think it may possibly need a thermostat, but it is really, really cold here in Indiana right now. So I'm gonna try and do some cold fronts. Basically block off this part of the radiator, the whole piece. In here, I'm not real sure yet. I may put a piece of cardboard in there. I may just do the grill. Probably gonna be leaning towards doing just the grill for now to see how much that helps. But then we still have this big pocket here at the bottom. Have a ton of cardboard left over from the exhaust kit we did. So another thing I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna turn the idle up. The idle needs bumped up quite a bit. I saw you guys talking in the videos. I thought it was just because it was like a old school 12 valve cold start thing, but actually I just need to bump it up a little bit, and that'll make it so I don't have to sit here and babysit this thing whenever I cold start it. So to do that, I'm not sure if there's I know that one option is to just adjust that rod right there. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the only option we have, honestly. Bring that rod in a little bit. So we'll spray some PB Blaster on those. Little adjustments right there, right where my light's at. All right, guys, we got it right under 1,000 RPM. I'm honestly thinking about leaving it just because it's winter time. I think I'm gonna leave it right there. Now I'm gonna be installing this cardboard cold front. Now to get the idle turned up. Can't even see it, just sneak this guy down in here. About like that. Maybe we'll throw a zip tie around the top, and voila. Now we'll keep some of that cold air off that radiator. I didn't completely cover it up. Still want it to be able to, you know, cool some of the air down, but thanks, Diamond Eye, appreciate it. We also got the hideous Dodge factory valve cover removed off of the 12-valve dump truck. And now, the last little thing I'm gonna do before I close this video out, we got the idle done, cold front end, valve cover removed. I'm going to adjust the star wheel a little bit to get a little bit more acceleration out of this thing. So I'm gonna remove this Allen head bolt right here, and then I'm going to adjust the star wheel. I'll show you guys a little bit more about that here in a second. So guys, this right here is the star wheel. To just kind of give you guys a little rough down on what this actually is this is basically referenced by boost. There's a boost line that runs right here from the turbocharger over here to this. And this right here, as the boost pressure increases, it will push on this diaphragm and give the P-pump more fuel. This stuff, you know, which commonly you'll see guys, just got the AFC housing, take all this off. Then it's just dumping raw fuel all the time and you don't really have a clean, nice tuned truck. So there's a fuel plate underneath this AFC housing, which we'll mess with later. And then there's the star wheel, which is this diaphragm that's gonna control the foot that rides in between the fuel plate. So the fuel plate and then the AFC housing, the foot that goes down into this P-pump, all play a major role in how this thing is going to run, how much smoke it's gonna put out, etc. But this is a cleaner, nice little way that you can determine or increase the fuel that you're gonna get low end boost. So you guys can see I have my screwdriver in here. I'm gonna basically pry up on this thing and turn this wheel. I try to catch it on camera here without screwing anything up, but I wanna basically turn, I'm gonna have to set my camera down so I have both hands. I wanna turn this wheel. If you're standing up front here, you wanna turn the wheel counterclockwise this way. So let's do that. I'm gonna put about four to 5 turns on it, and I'll test drive it in the morning. Guys, I don't plan to see a major horsepower increase from this. Guys, I plan to take the Cummins for a test drive in the morning on the way to work. Well, not really test drive, I'm just gonna get it and go. But anyways, we will see how this thing is acting, and I may get another load of gravel tomorrow because I really want to extend that part of the driveway, make it a little bigger. So I just want to give a huge thank you to all you guys, and I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed working on the dump truck, and let me know if you guys want to see some more content on that. I have some really big plans that I really want your guys' feedback. I'm thinking about turning it up a little bit. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Let's have some fun with this thing. And we're actually gonna start fixing up a little bit here, more and more as we go every video. So I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.